Hi everyone. I hope you all are doing well. We're the web design team here at the Center of Excellence for Women and Technology. If you do not know already, CUIT has a mission here to empower women to be leaders in technology and to fully leverage technical skills to attain academic and professional excellence. To do that, today the web design team is bringing a workshop to you all to help you design your brand's website. So let's start off with a round of introductions. My name is Parumita and I'm the lead intern for the web design team. I'm a second year graduate student in the Human Computer Interaction program, and I have about 2 years of experience in UX design and research. Over to Fatima.
So, hi everyone, I'm Fatima Rafiki. I am also a second year graduate student in Human Computer Interaction and Design at Indiana University. Recently, I interned at Juniper Networks as a UX designer, and in my previous life, I was a software developer who used to do all the front end things. So, yeah, I talk about career switch and design. Over to you, eBay.
Hi everyone, my name is Ibei Chen. I'm a sophomore in the undergraduate school, majoring in comprehensive design and digital interactive media, as well as minoring in marketing.
All right, so let's begin. I'll start sharing my screen. Um, hope that's visible. Okay, so before we begin, let's talk a little bit about the agenda. We'll be talking about three main things here to help you design your brand's website. The first one is research and discovery that happens even before you start designing. The second would be talking about the core principles of web design. And the third one would be how you make your website more consistent with your overall brand. So, starting off with the research and discovery phase, the first thing that you have to know here is understanding what the purpose of your website is. So, for example, you need to obviously understand whether your website is a portfolio. So, are you presenting your own work to the world? Or is your website an e commerce platform? Are you trying to sell some products? So here there are two examples. The left one is a portfolio website, and the right one is an ice cream shop website. They both have different purposes, and the design also varies based on that. The second example here is of Facebook Messenger and LinkedIn. So the purpose of the website is also determined by what actions a person would do on this website. For example, Facebook Messenger's purpose is to foster more social and personal interactions, and LinkedIn is has a goal of fostering more professional interactions. And based on that, as you can see, the design is very different. Facebook is very colorful and fun, whereas LinkedIn is more muted and subtle with more blues. The second thing that you have to know is who is the audience of the website? Who are you expecting to visit your website? And based on that, here are two examples. Both are landing pages of Spotify. The first one on the left is Spotify Kids. So here the audience is basically children. So the design is very colorful again. It has a lot of illustrations, cartoons, bright yellows and purples, which attract the attention of kids. The second at the right is the normal Spotify that we all adults use. It is more subtle and muted. It has dark colors and real pictures instead of illustrations. That's something that draws more attention for people like us. The third thing kind of ties back to the purpose, but it is like the content of the website. So here again, we've taken two websites of Indiana University. The left one is the landing page of IU Bloomington's website. The content here is very specific to finding what degrees are available, what courses you can take, how you can apply for them, and a little bit about IU Bloomington's campus. The second is the coronavirus website of IU. Here, the content is specifically about COVID and how you can get flu vaccines and do departure testing at the university. So, the content is very different, the purpose is very different. So, five crucial strategies that you have to follow or know for your landing page. If you can see here, we have the first one is value proposition, the second one is call to action, the third one is focus, the fourth one is visual images, and the fifth one is social proof. So, let's take an example of Netflix homepage, and I'll go over each of these. With the help of Netflix. The first one is value proposition, which talks about what really is the value that you're providing to your audience who's visiting the website. And this is usually a short sentence, one or two lines, which is very bold and center, that is clearly conveyed to the audience. Here it is unlimited movies, TV shows, and more. This is the value that Netflix proposes to audiences. The second one is the call to action. So when your users land on your website, what is the first action you expect them to do? Where should they go? There should be a call to action. And here the call to action is the big red button that says get started. And this is how people can sign up to Netflix. The third one is focus, which is closely related to call to action, but it basically means that you create a focus on your website. The website shouldn't be having a lot of different components that the user gets confused what to do or what actions to take. So you have to create a focus here. So the Netflix website is predominantly dark, and then the focus is mostly at the center here. Then visual images and social proof are also used for people to relate to your website. So if you add pictures or show logos of brands that people know, that help them have social proof and build trust in your website. So those are the five crucial strategies for designing your website. Now, getting into the actual principles of web design that your website should follow. They are first the navigation, the second hierarchy, and the third is color and typography. So let's start with navigation first. The navigation should be findable, discoverable, and give you context of where you are on the website. So, what we mean by that is when your users come on your website, the content that they are expecting to find should be easily findable. And if you see the first example here at the top, this is a website for cupcakes, but the users are not sure looking at first glance where they can find those cupcakes. So the content here is not very findable. The second thing is discoverability. So maybe your users are not particularly looking for a specific thing, but they discover something and they realize that, okay, maybe this is something worth looking at. So in that way, your content should be more discoverable, and that can also um, happen through more recommendations or options, but still maintaining that focus. The third thing is context. Where are you in the scheme of things? So this can be achieved by clearly mentioning what web page you're at. Um, so if you see at the second, the bottom example here, there are a few navigation items at the top which says products, meal ideas, careers, and about. And this is helping you have a better navigation, since you can easily understand that you'll find products here and you can discover more products here. um, and then the second thing is hierarchy, which eBay will talk more about. So, eBay, take it away.
Okay, so the second design principle of a hierarchy is really easy to understand. It's basically what you want the audience to look at first and what you want to draw the most attention. So, for example, your heading should draw the most attention. It should be more in the center, have a high contrast, a large font, and be bolded. And therefore, the viewer will look at it first before it looks at anything else on the page. So in the example pictures above, we can see that it's a really good example of use of hierarchy as the heading or the message that the company wants to convey is bolded and large, and that draws the viewer's attention first. And as you scroll down, as you can see in the upper right corner, um, all your money in one place, as well as effortlessly stay on top of your bills, is also bolded and large. And these messages are what the companies want the viewers to see. So in the lower right corner, it's a poor example of the use of hierarchy, as the heading, such as discover exciting startups, is does not create much of a contrast compared to the paragraphs. And this will cause, if you look at it from a further distance, that it will just be a gray spot that kind of blends together. And there's no clear focus of what they want the viewers to look at first. Okay, the third principle of design would be color and typography. We'll touch upon typography in a second. So for color, you have to focus on four main things. First, it has to be legible. So whatever color text that you choose has to create a big enough contrast to the background that the viewers can read clearly. Second, it has to be consistent so that it creates a sense of unity for your website. And third, it has to communicate your brand values. For example, the color red is mostly associated with passion and love. The color green is associated with growth and nature. So depending on what kind of brand you are, you choose a color based on that. And fourth, that color is a lot of times used for functionality. For example, a button on your website can be colored so that it entices the viewers to click on it. Okay, so with choosing fonts, um, the basic two typefaces that we'll cover here is serif and sans serif. So serif has the little legs, and which gives a more traditional and formal feel, and sans serif, which is basically without the little legs, gives a more modern and minimal feel. So in creating your website, you can create a great website with just one type of font, um, just using contrast with different font sizes and weights for the headings and paragraph. But if you want to use different typefaces for your website, I recommend you to combine serif fonts and sans serif fonts. Um, and when combining those, it's crucial that you assign distinct roles to each font. For example, if you use sans serif for the heading, then make sure you use that for every heading and use serif for every paragraph. And that way it creates less confusion. And lastly, you should always stick to two, max three typefaces, and that way there's also a sense of unity within your website. Okay, so with the top examples, you can see that um, the title and the paragraph is clearly separated with contrast and font size differences. And the color used throughout the website is blue, and it's used for the button as well as outline of the rectangle where it shows where your mouse is at throughout the page. But compared to the bottom example, they used a variety of different bright colors that doesn't serve as much of a purpose, and which made the red button not stand out as much in comparison if the background was white. At the same time, the color of the fonts is rainbow sometimes, black sometimes, red sometimes, for also no apparent reason, and as well as the font that they chose do not reflect the mood of the website, which is a juice company that's supposed to be more uplifting and vibrant.
Okay, so now we will talk about consistency and brand identification and how you can tailor the website according to your brand's need. How do we apply all the knowledge that we have learned so far to tailor it to our personal brand? Next. So, the first thing here is you need to define your brand's personality. What is your brand's main goal? Who are your brand's main audience? So, for example, in the left section, you can see Reebok's main audience is the people who go out for sports. So, their brand depicts more of an energy vibe, more of, active, youthful vibe. So, it represents bold, energetic, and youthful. While on the right side, you can see a snapshot from PayPal's website where it is very clean, straightforward, and there's no fluff. Like you want your banking to be simple, you don't want it to be very complicated. So there's a very quick tip about that. Imagine your brand as a person. How would the features of that person look like? For example, if I'm designing for a female brand, how would that brand look like? What will be the personality of that person if that brand was a person? So that helps in identifying characteristics of your brand and colors and tones based on that. The second thing is brand identity begins with your logo or monogram. It's your primary identification factor for your brand. It makes your brand stand out. So, I have taken three instances of Netflix branding. The first one is of the preloader. So, how do you know if a video is actually a Netflix original content? So, you have a preloader there with an N logo. So they have placed it very subtly at the beginning so that you subconsciously know, okay, this is Netflix content, and you start expecting things based on that. So that's another way of bringing awareness about your brand, and in a very subtle way introducing your brand. So what how you can implement this in your website is, suppose you are transitioning from one page to another, or maybe you are coming from one website to another, say Facebook to your brand's website. So how about having your brand's logo or monogram somewhere while the page is still loading, to like develop that sort of emotional connection with your audience. The second one is having your brand monogram in the as a fave icon in the main tab. So when 200 tabs are open, how will I identify which tab is for my one website, the one that I want to go? So I think it's one of the most important yet sometimes ignored one, but this helps your brand website be uniquely identified among different tabs. So definitely recommend having a fave icon for your brand. And the third one is colors. The colors that you use on your website should be coherent with your monogram, because that represents your brand's personality. So, two things come here. One, your monogram should have the colors that you want your brand personality to depict. And secondly, your website should be a reflection of your monogram's colors and typography. The third one is voice and tone. When you're designing a website, you're definitely going to add content. So how are you going to define your content? What should be the style of it? Does it have to be super formal, or does it have to be conversational? So this one is a screenshot from Skype's website where they very nicely and playfully introduce their agenda of uh, having more conversations and promoting more conversations. So these cloud bubbles represent that, okay, their main agenda is to promote conversations. So even when you see the words we like, words we don't like, peer to peer, the style of the typography and the imagery they used resonate with the brand personality. Like I mentioned in my previous section, imagery also plays a role in reflecting your brand's identity. So in the left side, we have a screenshot of JP Morgan's website, and this specific tab that's open is for investments. what comes to your mind when you think about investment? I'm sure something based on your uh, family or people you care about. Who do you want to invest for? So they have played very well with the imagery here by placing it in a way that they establish an emotional connection with you, and they reaffirm the thought that they care for you. That is why they are promoting you to invest in their bank. The second one is from the UNICEF's website. The hot shot topic right now is definitely COVID-19. So they are promoting that mask, but they did not forget who their target audience is. They have a child's photograph right centered in the website to showcase that, okay, they are their target audience and they are the people who they work for. So that is the UNICEF's goal, and that represents very beautifully through this picture. Next. Lastly, responsiveness and consistency is everything. So your websites needs to be accessible on all screen sizes. It should not be the case that if it's visible and clear on desktop, it should be adaptable based on the screen size. For example, the font size for my desktop might be different for my, as opposed to what I will be seeing on my mobile device, or what I have if I have a watch version of it, then that should be something completely different, adaptable if I have an iPad version of it. And the colors and typography need to be consistent. The margins, the paddings, all these things should be consistent yet adaptable. By adaptable, I mean it should change their locations based on the screen size and resolution. So for that, there's a term that we call breakpoints. So there are 3 to 4 breakpoints for online screen resolution that you can check. And while you are designing, you can design for those screen size breakpoints to cover all screen sizes. It's not like you have to design for every screen individually. You can just add those breakpoints and screen adapts to that. Next. So these are some of the resources that you can use. Like the first point has some resources like Wix, Webflow, Squarespace, WordPress. These do not require coding. You do not need to know HTML and CSS to code this. It's basically very simple. It's like drag and drop and like linking, and it's like all interface based. So you can like try your hands at the website in designing yourself. And the second one are few design resources that we as a team really follow, and you can check them out. One is Flux on YouTube, and other is Charlie Marty Mary TV on YouTube, so you can definitely check that out. um, I think that's all for the workshop today. Thank you so much for being here and watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Feel free to reach out to us, any one of us, on our LinkedIn, or mail us at webcivit@indiana.edu, and we will make sure that we respond to your query. If you have anything regarding this video or any event that you would like us to host, feel free to mail us. Yeah, thank you. That's all.
Yep. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this video, and you can also join our Facebook group. We'll put all the details in the description box of the video. So, yeah, thank you for joining us today.